We have a new show that is set to launch Thursdays at 6 p.m. right here from CentralValleyTalk.com. And they are in studio with us today. Give it up for Mel Sanders. Hey, and El Cato. The show's going to be called Mel's. They were debating, what El Cato wanted to go by, but we just left it at that. Mel Sanders and Friends, Thursday, 6 p.m. from Central Valley Talk. Guys, welcome. We're excited that you're going to be with us. You've got a whole hour on Thursdays. What is the show going to be about?
Well, it's going to be about community. We want to talk about particularly the African-American community in all aspects of it. I'm a political junkie, so most of my conversation will be about that. He hasn't decided what he wants to talk about yet, but he was part of the education piece before. You can talk for yourself. You're not handicapped. But we had fun talking about that, and we interview people, and we used to bring people in and just having different perspectives on those kinds of subjects, and really educating folks. I think that's the big thing. Education is very important, and in our community, it's void because most people don't have time for it. They've been disenfranchised, or they're angry because of what happened several years ago, and they don't recognize the fact that even though you were mad then, you still got to stay in the fight.
You know, we have seen a lot of crazy things in 2020, and then in 2021, of course, the George Floyd trial happened, and, the officer found guilty. Is that important to you? Is that important to you?
You speak to us first, sir. You're a law and order guy. You go.
Throw everything at me.
Pressure's on.
Well, it is important because, there are some issues that need to be talked about. And you can't talk about them just by, really, for me, I stand back and say, just because of the verdict doesn't solve the issue. I mean, it solved that particular issue with that particular policeman. And the people who saw it really could only figure that it would go one way. Normally it goes one way, which is on the policeman's side. This time it was kind of a shock for a lot of people because it was in George Floyd's favor. But it still didn't solve the problem. Problem is still there. So it means more debate. And now if this problem wasn't there anymore, then there wouldn't be any more killings.
Which is why politics is so important. And that's the conversation I like to have because it connects to everything. The air you breathe, the water you drink, the food you eat, everything you can think of is connected to politics. And our job is to share with people how it connects so they understand the importance of voting for a city councilman or board of supervisor or even people who are appointed to commissions, those kinds of things. They are all important and relative. So when you ask us about the verdict, yeah, that's important because the DA, those things have all kind of connections. They're voted for. Judges, which is an area on the ballot that most people never fill out. They just skip that. When it comes to the judges at the bottom of that ballot, I don't know them, so they skip it. Those are extremely important. So those kinds of things we'll be talking about and strategies of how to get accountability from those guys.
I was listening the other day to a AM radio station, and the host is an African American, and
on an AM radio station.
Yeah,
in our city.
Yeah, it's KXEX, and he said something that was very odd to me. He was talking about Juneteenth, and he made a comment like, and they just made up a holiday, Juneteenth. Me as a white person, I was offended. What do you guys think about Juneteenth? I mean, to me, I think, first of all, when I went through school, I wasn't taught what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It blew my mind. And we're just now talking about this in 2021. This happened, over 100 years ago, or maybe close to. And then, so my mind, like I said, my mind was blown. It is a holiday that we should have enacted 50, 60, 70 years ago. I mean, that was a complete tragedy, what happened there. And then for him to say, oh yeah, you know, they just made up this holiday. Like I said, I was offended. I wanted to see what you guys think, because I think that's a hot topic issue.
Yeah, I really don't know the individual, but I know that Juneteenth has been celebrated in our community for a number of years, and it has grown over the years. And so for him to make that kind of a statement kind of tells me that he's not real sharp. He's not on top of it. He's just, you know, he's probably, he sounds like a GOP man. And if it is, then, you know, more power to him. But the more education he gets, hopefully his eyes will come open and he'll see things from a different perspective. But, you know, Juneteenth is a beginning. It's a start. It's not the end.
Right.
It's to me, it speaks to also the critical race theory conversation, because you've been hearing all of this talk about we don't want that taught in our schools.
Right.
But when you start talking about Juneteenth and you have to go back and do the history, it's going to connect up to all of that. So sometimes you lose when you think you win. I say that, you know, if you're a Republican who thinks I supported that and that now we've done our part, but you can't close the door on history. And if you decide that you want to just not talk about critical race theory and we're going to just ban all of that, yet there's a law now that says that Juneteenth is a national holiday, this conversation's coming.
Right.
So, you know, you win and you lose. So that's my thoughts.
What about you?
Kind of the same.
Hey, you can't be copycat. Now, you have to have your own opinion.
You can be right. You can be right once a year. So.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, like I said earlier, it's still a topic, and it doesn't get shut down because one thing happened. There's more discussion that needs to be talked about, good and bad. But, you know, just because I might want something doesn't mean it's deserving of it. But so that's where the discussion comes in. You know, I prove my point, and then you try to prove your point, and hopefully before we leave, we can agree on something.
And I'm not trying to, you know, talk smack about this talk host. And if you're watching, please come on the show and explain to me why you think it's a made-up holiday. I want to hear your side. But again, I mean, these are hot topic issues, and this is why you guys are having your show. You know, the conversation needs to continue.
You need to provide the education for those of us who have missed that lesson. They were doing something else, or they were in a place where that wasn't taught. So shows like this, like we were talking about here, we hope to use it to enlighten folks and to get them excited about being, you know, a part of the conversation. So you were saying what, sir?
Said being included.
Oh, yeah, making sure everybody has a piece of the pie.
So it'll be every Thursday night, 6 p.m.
Every other Thursday to start. We're going to start every other Thursday.
Oh, every other Thursday. Okay.
Yeah, for the next 2 months. Yeah.
Or second and fourth.
Thursdays?
Yeah.
Whatever the boss says, that's what we'll do.
All right, okay. To be determined.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it'll be twice a month on Thursdays live.
Right.
6 p.m., centralvalleytalk.com. We've got about a minute left. Anything else you guys wanted to talk about?
One more thing we're going to add. We're going to add, from Hanford, we're going to add a segment to deal with their African-American population, and we're going to have some folks Skyped in to talk about that. There's a team of folks down there that are doing some things, too. So this is the Valley. We want to connect in the Valley.
Yeah, not just
And, yeah,
right.
we have Kings County, where we have several African-American elected officials that most people don't even know that there's that many down there that have been elected. So we want to talk about that and try to grow those spots where we can have people participate in the process.
Very good. All right. Well, check out Mel Sanders and El Cato Thursdays, 6 p.m. twice a month at centralvalleytalk.com. Happy 4th of July, guys.
Thank you very much.
you.
Appreciate it. We're going to go out and get some barbecue.
Go get, oh, man, can I come?
Yeah.
Are you going to Barbecue Bomb? You
No.
ever been there?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's good.
Where's it?
It is Fresno and Jones.
Oh, that's the
Oh,
new place
yeah.
that you right behind the barbershop.
You guys
Yeah.
should check that out. It is delicious.
Yeah, that's the new place.
Yeah,
okay.
tell him, he's probably there today. Tell him that you saw him on Central Valley Talk. I guarantee you he'll give you a discount.
All right.
So,
yeah,
yeah.
sounds good. And I'm hungry too. Oh,
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Looking
Thank you
forward
for
to your
the
show.
host. Thank you.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
I'm Austin Reed. That does it for Central Valley Talk, the weekend edition. Happy Independence Day, everybody. Stay safe. We'll see you next week.